India. Okay, the first 30 years from 1947 to 77. So in that chapter, as we discussed the topics, okay. So previously what we have discussed, yeah, first general elections and a description of the elections, yes or no? And okay, we have got an introduction about that, and today our topic is one party dominance in political system. Okay, see, as we know that in the time of freedom fighting also, INC was formed, Indian National Congress was formed, and they have allotted of many movements, right? So that INC only after got independence also it was continued. So people have thought that it was due to that, okay, due to that party's movements only we got the independence. People have it to their mind, and okay, so when it has some political party also, people have given more votes to that party. So at that time, lead of the party, which party, you know? Congress party. Okay, at that time when they have held first elections, okay, due to that opinion, Congress party own majority. Okay, Congress party own majority. Yeah. Okay. See. So after that Congress party emerged, then who is the Prime Minister then? Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, Jawaharlal Nehru was the first Prime Minister of India. Come to the, and which party is then? He belongs to Congress party. Okay, and at this time the Congress party owned 70% of the seats all over the states. Okay, how much? 70% of the seats. That means ruling party is a Congress party, as I told you in that election process in India lesson. Okay, yeah. So 70% of the seats owned by the Congress party. So Congress party will be the ruling party. See, 45% of the total, 70% of the seats got, means out of 100, 45% of the people, 45% of the people have given the vote to the Congress party. You know, these party have ruled many years, but come after 2 decades, people have given or shifted to another parties. Okay, see, if you see that page chart which is given page number 242, seat share of various political parties in 1950 to 62, means 1 decade, means 10 years. So within the 10 years, what was the changes? You know, here they gave the color measures, okay, and which party got more and more. They have given here Indian National Congress, INC, it having a 364 seats in 1952. Okay, but in 1962, 361. That means reduced over 3 seats, right? So after the decades, somewhat reduced, but nearly 2 decades, the ruling party by the INC only, Indian National Congress. Okay. See, next, the demand for state recognition. Okay, the demand for state recognition. State reorganization. Okay, state reorganization. Okay, for this I'll tell you of our Telangana example. Okay, see, when we got in a separate state of our Telangana, how many districts do we have? 9. Yes or no? 9 or okay. Not like now we have also. So now we have 33 districts. Is that no? So that is nothing but reorganizing of the state when we got in a separate state. Okay, when we got in a separate state, again the reorganized some of the districts. Okay, districts they have separated from one district only. They have separated into 2-3 districts. Land it will not explore. Okay, the districts areas only they have separated. Okay, so like that they have started after when they were ruling of a Congress party after independence. They have demanded for the state reorganization. So how they started, based on the language speaking people, the states are forcing to the government based on the language speaking people go for the state reorganization. But the government did not accepting of all that. Why? Because when they got an independence, they stick on some rules that they should not be separate of something and they should not be partition and all, right? So government has very slow in that state reorganization based on the languages, because as it they follow unity in diversity, diversity in unity, right? So they did not accepted whatever the many of them forcing to be separate the states, reorganize the states based on the languages. Okay, but how they have the states at that time? It depends on the princely structure. Do you know princely structure? That I tell you here, presidencies. Yeah. Among the first challenges that the new nations were faced was demand for reorganization of states on the basis of language, as I told you. During the British period, the country was divided into presidencies. Okay. During the British time, the country was divided into which system? Presidencies. Presidencies. Okay. So, which presidencies was there at that time? British ruling time: Calcutta Presidency, Madras Presidency, and Bombay Presidency. And the number of very large states like Central Province and Berar. Remaining some other, it's all Central Province. A large part of the country was under princely states. Okay, large part of the country was under the princely states. In each of people speaking many different languages were living together. Many language people were living together at that time. Okay, in one state only many language people were speaking. See, for example, now if you go to the Tamil Nadu, see mostly, of course, now in come to our Telugu states, even introduced by Urdu medium and Telugu medium, and of course can speak by any language. There is no particular rule by government, and it's not strictly in our areas. But if we go for visiting of Tamil Nadu also, there is a very strictly rules about the language speaking, in Tamil Nadu especially. They have to be follow schooling and everything in their Tamil language only, and everybody have to speak in the Tamil language like that. Some of strictly rules were imposed by the Tamil Nadu state now even before. Okay, see. For example, Madras Presidency had it in people speaking Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu, Gondi and Oriya languages. See, in British, under control of British, presidency rules were there. Presidency wise, it was there, right? State organizations. So, Madras Presidency, Calcutta Presidency and Bombay Presidencies, right? So, in the Madras Presidency, how many language speaking, how many language speaking people lead, see? Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Gondi is a tribal language, I think so. Okay, Gondi and Oriya languages. All the people speaking a language and living contiguous areas demanded to be organized under one state. These included campaign for Samyukta Karnataka, uniting Kannada speakers spread across the Madras, Mysore, Bombay and Hyderabad. Samyukta Maharashtra of Mahagujara movement, the merger of Travancore and Cochin princely states and the state of Punjab and Sikh would agree these demands for help to build the unity of the country. Would it lead the breaking of the country along the linguistic lines was the main concern. The partition of the country on the basis of religion and it created doubts and fears about the security and stability of Indian in the minds of the leadership. Yes, partition of the country due to the linguistic basic, it should not be lead the secure, okay, and as well as it should not be leads the stability. That was the problem faced by the Indian leaders. There was a fear that language reorganization would lead to breakdown of the country. Yes, they worried about that. Okay, if they go for based on language, if they go for partition of the country, it is nothing but breakdown of the country. Even though Congress itself was organized on the linguistic lines and had promised to restructure the country on those lines, developed cold wheat when independence came. Okay. The most vigorous of all the movement was the Telugu speakers, which called upon the Congress to implement the whole resolution in favor of linguistic states. The Andhra Mahasabha AMS, which you studied in your 8th class, okay, Andhra Mahasabha at that time. Among these all, when they have demand for state reorganization, our Telugu people have demanded more highly than comparing to the other language people. Okay, comparing to other language people, Telugu speaking people have raised a huge movement through the AMS, Andhra Mahasabha, had been active even during the British rule and was attempting to bring together to the Telugu speaking people in Madras Presidency. This movement continued even after independence. Before independence, also Andhra Mahasabha was argued about the based on language to be partition, okay, from the Madras Presidency. Even after the independence, also it was continued about the Telugu speaking people has to be together. Okay. The methods used include petitions, representations, street marches and fast. Okay, they have done many activities, they have done petitions to the governments and representations, and they have gone the street marches and fastings and all like that. Giving the Congress opposition to these demand, which demand? Telugu speaking language states should be separate from the Madras Presidency. Okay, whose this demand? AMS demand. Okay, so due to that demand, the party did badly in Telugu speaking areas in the first elections. The seats went to the parties who supported the linguistic movements. See, Congress party became ruler, right? Ruling party, right? So which party have given allowing of compulsory who are the language speaking Telugu language speaking people has to be in one state? Which party given priority? For that party only these all Telugu people given votes. So at that time Congress party were opposing for this, right? So Congress party did not own in seats in that Telugu areas. Okay. See, Jawaharlal was not opposed to the linguistic states, but why so then? He is thinking about the security and stability of the country. He only believed that this was not right time for it. It was also constitutional position among the leaders of the day. They believed that India was in the process of consolidating itself and there should be no distractions. Understand? Okay, I'll continue. See here, the next State Reorganization Act in 1956. See, they have formed another act in which year? In 1956. State Reorganization Act. Okay. Telugu-speaking state began a hunger strike. Yes. In 15th December in 1952, okay, in 15th December, okay, in 1952, he died. Who died? Potti Sriramulu. Okay, Potti Sriramulu is demanding for formation of Telugu-speaking language. Okay, Telugu-speaking state. Okay, and he began which strike? Hunger strike. Who? Potti Sriramulu. Okay. What he have done? He have done what? Hunger strike. Okay. Hunger strike means he does not eat food. Okay. He does not eat food. As per our Telangana formation time, even Chandrasekhar Rao also did some days, right? Same like that. Okay, and previously Potti Sriramulu have did the strike of hunger strike. Okay, some days going on. So in the year of 15th December 1952, he died after 58 days of fasting. How many days Potti Sriramulu had fasting? 58 days of fasting. Okay, after fasting he died. He was died on this day. Okay. So, Potti Sriramulu death was turning point. He was started the hunger strike 58 days, okay, and he was died on 15th December 1952. So that is changed. It is took the another turning. Okay, the turning what I'll continue in next.